So I'm sitting at a luncheon at the Rotary meeting, and I made a friend, an albino ladybug. So, is that a ladybug or is that something else? You guys tell me.
It's like a lady. Well, you guys know that I wander around town sometimes looking for things and people or whatever I'm looking for. One day I wandered into this place that used to be a YMCA on the west side, on Leonard, and it had this thing, the Geek Group. I thought, the Geek Group? What the heck is that? How many geeks can you get in one room? Well, it appears you can get a whole lot of geeks in one room, because Chris Boden has started a company, it's a nonprofit, I believe, correct? Called the Geek Group, where you can actually go in and use the facility on a short-term or long-term basis to do any kind of project that you can imagine. I was astounded with the amount of opportunity that's there. So I'll let Chris expand upon that. Local guy from Coopersville originally. Yep. Started this thing in Kalamazoo, moved to Grand Rapids in 2010, and moved into that facility. And I would encourage all of you to go visit the place and just see what they're up to, see what you can be doing, your hobbies, your spare time and stuff, but Chris, we'll let you take that away.
Hi guys. This is kind of cool because usually when I do this, it's turbo nerds, and it's kind of cool to stand in front of a room and have a whole bunch of people that are rather upper echelon in companies, because usually it's my job to inspire and motivate people to get off their butt and go and build something. And standing in front of a room, people have all gotten off their butt and built something, so that's kind of cool. We are the old West Side YMCA. That's the building we took over. And it works really well, and we've carried a lot of that stuff on over into what our company is today, because everybody's familiar with the Y. The Y is a place where it's like a gym. You know, they have everybody that walks in our doors like, I learned how to swim here! And they don't realize that the pool's been full of concrete for 10 years. But that's the idea, is the Geek Group is a place much like the Y. You go to the Y so that you can have access to tools and equipment and materials that you don't want to have in your house. Nobody wants to spend 10 grand to buy a Nautilus machine to put it in their basement and use it for half an hour a day, 3 days a week. It's just not cost effective. But they think of the Y, and that's how you go and build muscle. We do the same thing at the Geek Group with brains. You come to the Geek Group because normal people don't want to have a lasers and optics lab in their basement that costs $5 million to make that they can only play with for, you know, a couple hours a week. That's the idea. The fundamental idea is that people are inherently creative. Most people you meet are creative in some way. People are smart. It's a faith-based organization. We put faith in people to not be idiots. Because every one of you, especially people that own companies, because it's like a habit, everybody's had a moment where they're watching TV in the small hours and you see some idea come on and it's like, man, I could have done that, but you didn't, and the guy who did is now worth $11 million. The Geek Group is the place where people make that jump from concept to creation. It's easy to come up with the idea. It's really hard to make the first one. You want to make $100 million or something? That's easy. Infrastructure, no problem. Write a check, I can do it in 3 months. But the first 5, that's hard, that's expensive. Because you have to get used to being uncomfortable. You have to get out of what you know and be okay with change and being uncomfortable. People don't like being uncomfortable. It turns out if you can get used to being uncomfortable, you can make giant piles of money and do all kinds of really cool stuff. You just have to get out of what you're used to. Anybody in this room has a field that they're brilliant in, and it's quite often really remarkable stuff. Like, you just pick a random person. What do you do for a living? You're retired. What did you do for a living?
Baseball player.
Really? You were a professional baseball player?
Yeah.
That's one I've never gotten before. Okay, this is cool. I've done this a million times. I've got a baseball player. That's cool. This is actually really easy.
He lies too.
Yeah, I had a feeling. But I'm going to go with baseball player because I'm a physicist, so that works for me. Because as a baseball player, he would have a working knowledge of ballistics and particle physics, which is kind of cool. I I need a company though. Who owns a company? Raise your hand if you own a business. What do you do?
I start companies.
You start companies. Okay, so you're a master of infrastructure and organization.
I'm a serial entrepreneur.
I like that. You are exactly what I live for. Because I need guys, you know how to build companies.
Right.
We hunt people like you that are driven and motivated and like to make things, and we help them make the first part of the company. You're good at building, you know, when I want to make 100 million of something, you're a guy to call. The first 5, you need access to a million different things, and you don't know what when you start. You might be a master at prototypical fabrication and development in a machine shop environment. You know how to make things out of metal. And she can be a master of electronics. And you might know everything there is to know about making the part, but you can't make it work without her help. And the Geek Group is a catalyst for bringing all the people together. That's the idea. We have 3 pieces of paper that everybody signs when they sign up to be a member of the Geek Group. And most of them are what you expect except for one. The first thing is a release or a model release, just like if you're on a magazine cover, because there's 180 cameras in our building. We have the largest video security system in the state of Michigan by like an order of magnitude. It's kind of cool. And we share everything we do with the world. You can, right now, go on your cell phone, bring up the Geek Group website, if you're a member, log in and look at cameras around the building and see what's going on in the aeronautics lab right now. And if there's a class going on, you can watch the class. We have people all over the world that do it. It's kind of cool. We do a lot with distance learning. The second thing is the ultimate liability waiver ever, because I'm inviting all of you to come and play with power tools. We have 5 insurance companies and really awesome lawyers. And we basically have the best liability waiver you've ever read in your life. I recommend you all check it out. It's absolutely hilarious. It uses the word death, I think, 84 times or something like that. It includes zombie attack, because our lawyers have a sense of humor. And the third thing is what's really cool. The third thing is what makes the Geek Group amazingly powerful for a guy in your world. We have a backwards non-disclosure agreement. Just take a minute and think about it. Yeah, see, I got the look. See, is it right? Yeah. In this world, in everything you know, it is awesome. America is founded on capitalism. I love capitalism. Okay, because in this world, this is my invention, and it's mine. And I will take it to him, and we'll build a factory, and we'll get him to back it, and there's a system, and there's infrastructure, and everybody knows the rules, and it all just works. If you have a good idea, and you're motivated, and you can market it, and you can make money with it, you can build a company, you can affect social change, you can make a pile of money and donate a part of that to get clean water and cure polio. Cool. Yay, Jonas Salk, old school geek. Jonas Salk didn't patent the polio vaccine. It's why you're able to do what you do. Jonas Salk came up with a really cool idea, and we today would call it open source. That's what it's like inside the Geek Group. We have a backwards NDA. At the Geek Group, it's, this is my idea! And it's awesome, mostly. But it kind of sucks in some ways, but she can help. And if I can get you to help with the electronics, and I can get you to help with the inverse kinematics, and we get this to work here, but I don't know how to do, but he knows about woodworking, so we can put that together, and we can do this together, because at the Geek Group, inside our walls, despite the fact that there's a million cameras and the whole world is watching, I can take my idea and share it with her, and she can't steal it. And he can't steal it. And he can't steal it. And this way you can know more than you know, because you can collaborate with a whole lot of wicked smart people. We don't want to steal your idea, because we don't care about your idea. We care about solving puzzles, though. We like solving puzzles. That's nerd porn. We like problems to solve, and we're really good at it. And I don't know everything. In fact, it turns out they fill whole libraries full of things that I don't know. And that's really fun, because it means there's lots of stuff you get to learn. And I get to hang out with really smart people, and I like collecting smart, motivated people that start companies. And people come into the Geek Group with ideas. And we're the place where they go from art to part. And then they talk to guys like you. So that's the basics of the Geek Group and what we do. Now give me some questions. You can ask absolutely anything you want. There are no rules at all. Go.
What's the most dangerous piece of equipment you have?
The laser.
No, the lasers are easy. Lasers are predictable. Lasers are safe. Well, statistically, the most dangerous piece of equipment we have is the table saw, because it's the only piece of equipment we have that has ever injured a member in 21 years. Ever. 21 years we've had one injury. And it was a little old lady who knocked her teeth out with a table saw. It's okay, they were fake teeth, but it was still a frightfully horrible experience. She's fine now. and she came back within a week, and she is now making butterflies for her garden. You had a question, sir?
Yeah, where's your funding come from?
Guys like you. It's really, that's where it started. It started out of pocket. We did this, we've never had venture capital, ever. We've never done an IPO, we will never go public. Here's a radical concept in the 21st century. You've probably never heard this from anybody in my generation. We're young, we're smart, we're motivated, we'll do it our damn selves, thank you very much. We don't need any government handouts, we did it. It was 20 years into the company before we received any state or federal funding of any kind, and that's a matching grant from the city or from the state for doing energy stuff, like our new roof and HVAC and stuff. But it was 20 years before we accepted any government funding of any kind. And I'm really proud of that. We did this on our backs. We did this, we started out, we needed money, and we had a collection of nerds. So we're like, hey, let's fix computers. We fixed computers. We made $72,000 in the first year doing that.
Do you
All of
still?
which went to the Geek Group.
You still do it?
No, I actually gave the company away to a couple members. If you're ever in Kalamazoo, stop by Geek Easy Computers. They're nice guys. They had a Solano. It's a really awesome story, but I'm not going to tell it here. If you're ever interested, ask me sometime. But we gave a house and a company away to two really awesome guys in Kaiser. I'm really proud of that. We just gave them a house. But now our funding comes from private grants, foundational support, smart guys who own companies that see what we do and see the value in it. Have any of you ever worked in a manufacturing environment with like Haas CNC tools, like big machine tools, CNC stuff? In that world, and there isn't a single person in this room who can't reach into their pocket right now and pull out something that was made possible with a CNC tool. It just doesn't exist. You can't do it. And the cool thing is, in your world where you have a room with 50 of these machines cost $250,000 a piece. And they make parts, and they're awesome. You press a button, and a part pops out. You change the thing, you press a button, and a part pops out. And I make thousands of them every day. Everything's made this way. This thing was probably made on a CNC machine. And that's great in your world, but because they're making thousands of these, if you can make it work like one cycle time 30 seconds faster, that's huge. That's you're buying a new car at the end of the year, huge, okay? But you can't fix that in your world because you can't shut the machine down for 2 days to just tinker with it to shave 30 seconds off the cycle times. So what we do, it's like the Y, providing tools and equipment and materials that we get. So you come to our place with your thumb drive, and on your thumb drive you have your program for your CNC machine. We have the exact same CNC machines. You put your thumb drive in our machine, you send down your one employee who's like your turbo nerd, and every one of you has a nerd that you know. He's the guy you called to hook up your stereo, that guy. You send him to our building. He puts the thumb drive in the machine and he just tinkers with it for a weekend. He shaves 30 seconds off the cycle time. And it didn't cost you anything! You're still making $100,000 a day on your machine, and you're at, yeah. You just send a guy over here. He uses our machine. Because our machine, you can shut down for 2 days and just tinker with it. You can massage all the little twiddly bits and get it all back together. Put it back in the thumb drive, take it back to your building, and we don't own your intellectual property. We don't touch any of that. There's no risk to you of any kind. You're protected. You put it back in your machine, and now it works better, and it works faster, and you make more money. That's what we do. It might be that you want to build rockets with your kid. We have an aeronautics lab. And it isn't like, just, hey, let's go to the store and buy a model rocket. It's like, you can build a rocket. Big enough that you have to call the FAA and get clearance to launch it. You can do this. They launch them out of Muskegon, and it's awesome. If you want to come down and work on your car, there isn't a person in this room that I couldn't teach you how to change your oil in 20 minutes. It's easy, okay? But changing your oil, something that simple, changing the oil in your car, in your driveway, in Michigan, sucks really bad for about half the year, and it's miserable for the other half. And it's filthy, and it's messy. It's going to take you 2 hours to do it, and you don't have all the tools you need to do it. But if you just add one tool, a hoist, that's it, a hoist. Well, now you're not laying under the car on a sheet of cardboard. Now it's up here. It's a 20-minute job. It's clean, it's easy, it's fun. It's fun. But you need the hoist. Well, the hoist costs $6,000, and it takes up a full stall of your garage, and you have to get special power to do it, and it's going to take you a while to get the training on how to put your car in a hoist and not drop it. That happens, and it's really funny when somebody does. It's never happened in our building. Yeah, give it time. But I can tell you, if you ever put a Corvette on a hoist, don't open the doors. Valuable lessons learned. They break right in half, and it's really funny to watch. But if you have the hoist, you can change your own oil, and it's a simple, easy, clean job. We provide the hoist. We provide all the tools. We have more tools in our building than Home Depot has in stock right now. And the idea, imagine what you could do. Because you're smart. You can figure things out. You have ideas. Imagine what you could do if you could just walk into a building and build anything you can imagine. And have every tool and lab you could possibly imagine to do that. And it isn't just like a wood shop, and a metal shop, and an auto shop. Everybody, that's standard. Well, there was a time, up until about 20 years ago, when every high school had that. They don't anymore. But it's like a computer lab, an electronics lab, and a robotics lab, and a chemistry lab, and a bio lab, everything. And it could be big, important stuff. You might have an idea for a product that will sell hundreds of millions. Or you might just want to, maybe you're a dad and you got a daughter who's getting married, and you want to make her something really, really sweet for a wedding present. What if you had access to a machine that you could buy a 7-foot tall piece of glass, about this wide, and carve an ornate frame all the way around it, and have this big, beautiful mirror, and you come in with a picture of your daughter when she's 7. And you enlarge that picture to life size. And you can engrave that picture in the mirror, so when your daughter is standing on her wedding day looking in the mirror, in her dress and all that, she sees an engraved reflection of her as a 7-year-old girl. We had a dad do that. It was really cool. Go.
So, when you have an idea that's gone from, you know, its incubation to you're ready to build a prototype, and you have other people, all these people collaborating to get to that point, what's the typical, is there any financial remuneration to the people that have created the idea, or do they just turn that over to somebody that is proficient in building prototypes?
If you come in with an idea to the Geek Group, and you have 20 different people in the Geek Group, maybe 100, like if you get help with our IRC, that's a couple hundred people instantly. You owe them, and I want to make this very, very clear. If you come in with an idea, and your idea, you get funded through some awesome venture capitalist, he gives you $100 million, and you go out with your idea and you make $1 billion with your idea, you owe us precisely nothing. That's the point. You guys have the 4-way test, which is really cool, and I read the story of the guy who wrote it. This was written in the 30s by a pretty interesting guy who owned an aluminum company. We have a similar concept. We have one rule. Don't be a dick.
Well, I'm not talking about the Geek Group, I'm talking about the individual.
No, we have no intellectual property. You have it. You owe us nothing. It's your idea. You came in with your thing. Don't be a dick.
But how do you avoid, the guy has an idea, but he doesn't know how to, he doesn't know all the materials that are going to be needed to do his.
That's
so you
normal.
have somebody
That's an everyday thing.
that has that experience.
Yes.
And they collaborate
Yes.
together. It's up to them if they want to go and try to commercialize it
Yes,
themselves.
we don't
I
control it.
understand that.
Yeah, we have no control over that. If you come in and start a company, it's your company. You own it, we don't. If you come in with an idea, make billions, you own it, we don't. We maintain no IP. But, here's the cool thing about that. Don't be a dick is a modern day recitation of the do unto others, as you would have them. You know, I heard it here earlier, about an hour ago. It really works. Because if you come into my company, and you have a great idea, and you make billions of dollars. If I were to take that idea and try and steal the intellectual property, that's me being a dick. Don't be a dick. It's bad. If you go out and make billions of dollars and say, the Geek Group totally helped me build this thing, and they were really awesome to me. Screw those guys. I'm curing polio. That's important. Doing it. That's being a dick. Don't do that. It's really that simple. And if you apply this, it works with everything. It's the do unto others. But that's not really cool anymore. We're a younger generation now. So it's don't be a dick. It works really, really well. We don't maintain IP. We've had people come in, dozens of people come in and start companies. Lots of them fail. Okay, we don't care, we'll help you move. And we show up with like 20 guys in a big truck, which, by the way, if you ever have to move, is the best way ever. You get 20 guys in a 30-foot truck and let's go. We've moved entire people in 3 hours. Done. And if your company takes off, cool, we'll help you move into the new building and upgrade. And just remember us come tax time. You don't owe us nothing, but remember us come tax time. And when you do this, when you help people build companies and they go off and they succeed, turns out they actually do remember you come time to time, and they do help out. And people, this is the thing that the entire news doesn't want you to know. Here's the ultimate secret of humanity. People, as a whole, are actually pretty cool. It's going to be all right. Despite what the news tells you, it's going to be okay. People are actually pretty cool. And you can actually build an entire company on that simple concept that people are actually pretty cool. That's what a real faith-based organization is. We put faith in people. We put faith in people that if you trust people with power tools, they won't actually kill themselves in 30 seconds. This goes against, it sounds like common sense. I know I'm talking about grandpa stuff here. But logic, reason, common sense, critical thinking, faith in people actually works! Aside from what the whole world is doing. So, yeah, that's my thing. Because I want to wrap up on one thing. Right now, in the real world out there with scary people, nobody trusts anybody. You can't. Everybody treats everybody like they're idiots. How many of you who own companies have to do stupid things because lawyers and insurance companies? Because, oh God, no, they'll hurt themselves. You cannot, I hear this all day, every day. You can't let people do that. Somebody's going to get hurt. If you build an entire world, if you build a company, if you establish infrastructure, if you build 5 guys in a room, predicated on the concepts of people are stupid and you can't trust them, and you actually get all the insurance companies and all the lawyers together to agree on this, which is exactly what we've done for 30 years. It's why shop classes don't exist in today's America. If you build an entire company based on the concept that you can't trust people and that people are stupid, what you will do is create a generation of stupid people that you can't trust. You're getting it right now. The Geek Group exists to fix that. The Geek Group exists to create a place where people can come and take chances and make mistakes and play with things that are inherently dangerous. We have a high voltage lab where you can come in and make lightning. Right now! You can show up this afternoon for no other purpose than I like blowing things up. Explosions are awesome. Bring your kid down. You can push the big red button of science. I have a 144 megawatt impulse generator right now. You can walk in the door, press a button, and blow things up just because science is awesome. That's why we exist. Go.
What are your hours of operation?
We open every day at 10 a.m. We close at exhaustion. We close to the public. The public is terrifying. We close to the public at about 6 or 7, usually is when everybody wanders off for dinner. If you're a member, we have lockers and showers, and it is not an uncommon occurrence for people to show up and be there for 3 days.
So what does membership entail?
It's $40 a month. That's it. In fact, I thought somebody here might ask. I had a feeling that somebody here might be curious. So, I have member handbooks. This is our actual honest-to-God member handbook. It is awesome. It is absolutely not anything you're thinking. It's really cool. If your grandfather sat down and wrote a member handbook, this is what he'd write. You have to clean up your own mess. You have to be accountable for your actions and decisions. It's amazing. Concepts that are not taught anywhere. So, if anybody wants one, I will leave this right here, or throw them at you if you prefer. It's up to you. I also have some basic little flyers. And in the tradition of the Geek Group, everything you see here, including all the binding, full bleed, 4-color process, I'm very proud of this, was designed and built in-house. We didn't hire an outside printer, we did this.
What
And
press do
so
you
can
have?
you.
What kind of press do you have?
Oh God, it's a giant $50,000 Xerox machine.
Heidelberg.
Huh?
Heidelberg?
Oh, I wish it was nice Heidelberg.
Oh.
If you want to talk about 4-color process Heidelberg offset lithography, you and I are going to have a fun time. Because I'm a nerd, and that's my idea of a good time. My Pantone cred. I read a book once.
Some of the chart.
Yeah. Any other questions?
You have a 3D printer there?
No, we have half a dozen 3D printers. We have the largest fleet of 3D printers you're going to find anywhere in this state.
What's the biggest size you can print out?
If you want to print an entire wearable life-size Iron Man costume, you can. Yeah. There is no... If you want to 3D print a car, you can. It can be done. And I know about the Iron Man thing because it's been done. The build volume on our little 3D printers is like a 4 or 6 inch cube. You glue pieces together. You design it in a computer. It's easy to tell the computer, cut this into pieces. I want to make a big... I build rockets on it. And it's really cool to be able to 3D print a rocket. snap the pieces together, stuff a motor in its butt, and light, and this is just, I'm a physicist, we like explosions and rockets and stuff, it's what we do. But the big one, we've got a Stratasys. Like, most people see 3D printer and you're used to, something about, we have a 3D printer that's roughly the size of a refrigerator. It's a big Stratasys, and its build volume in that, I think, is a cubic foot, maybe a little more than that. But you can 3D print as big as you want. And most of the 3D printing, like you know, it is really updated. The new stuff is coming out so fast. Like, we have a 3D printed transmission. It's a manual transmission for a car. No, it's an automatic transmission for a car. Yeah. But we have a 3D printed transmission for a car. And it printed in one piece. And the gears turn. Like, you don't, it's not like the old days of 3D printing where you're like, I made a Thord! I have a Thord! I have one part, it doesn't move, it's very simple. No, now you can make intricate, manipulable, movable objects. It's really, we can do in colors now, like different colors. So we do, and if you're interested in a real basic Premiere on 3D printing, come on down and say, I want to make a cookie cutter. We do it for kids, it takes 15 minutes, it's really fun, and even if you're a grown-up, it's actually really cool. Go.
So if you want the parts to make something, we pay you for the parts, we bring our own parts, how does that work?
It all depends. Most people, I'm in a room full of smart people. The average IQ in this room is like 140. I'm willing to bet there's maybe 5 of you in here that know where to go to buy steel. Okay? We help you with stuff like that. A lot of people, you can get a lot of stuff at like Home Depot, stuff like that. But when you come in and say, I need a 2-inch square tubular steel bar with an 1/8 inch wall thickness, we have relationships with places like Alro and Central Iron and Steel and stuff like that, and we can help you get stuff. We have a massive parts inventory, and it's all at surplus prices. Like if you need an Omron time delay relay that's going to cost you $100 off the internet, we probably have one in stock for like $20. And because we get it from various surplus places, and people donate a lot of stuff. That's a thing I want you all to take home with you. A lot of you own companies, we want your junk. And I don't mean like the stuff you toss in the skiff in the back, though we might, if you have people that like go dumpster diving in your place on Wednesday nights, that might count. You can tell, we're not the ones that are there stealing scrap metal, we're the ones that are like, oh hey, articulated arms, cool. If you have old stuff, old computers, old machine tools, every company in this room, every company in America has an equipment morgue somewhere. You've got that room in the back with the old drill press in it that hasn't been used in 20 years. Donate it. It's worth more if you donate it than it is in scrap metal, because that old drill press that you can scrap out for $5 in steel, you can donate and get $500 off on your taxes, which is kind of fun. Next question. That it?
Okay, I think that's all we have time for.
Thank you.
Thank you.